We all know the corporatocracy is steadily tightening its grasp. The insanely wealthy get richer every day, and the poor get exploited more and more. 63% of Americans can't afford a $500 emergency. Yet on the other end of the spectrum, the rear end of the spectrum, if you will, and you should, Amazon head Jeff Bezos is now worth a record $141 billion. Meanwhile, worldwide, 1 in 10 people only make $2 a day. $2 a day. Do you know how long it would take one of those people at $2 a day to make the same amount as Jeff Bezos has? 193 million years. And that's if they only buy single-ply toilet paper, all right? And yet, there aren't riots in the streets for the most part, right? At least not in the U.S. Like, why are we okay with it? Why are we sitting here? Why? Look outside. Does it look like everyone's going to work at gunpoint? No, we're all choosing to do it. So what is happening? Well, I'll tell you. It's the myths we're all sold. Myths that are ingrained in our social programming from birth when our head's still soft. These myths are accepted and basically never questioned. So I feel it's my job as your resident fly in the ointment, and your turd in the punch bowl, your wet spot in the bed. I think it is my job to lay them all out there for you. So here are the 8 great myths of our American society. Myth number 8, we have a democracy. If you think we still have a democracy, then I have a subtle, nuanced performance by Kevin Hart for you to check out, all right? If you think that we still have a democratic republic, ask yourself this. When was the last time Congress did something that the people of America wanted that was not in the benefit of corporations? You probably can't do it, right? It's like trying to think of something that rhymes with orange. It's like, I know it's got to be there. No, it's not there. Congress doesn't do a damn thing without the approval of their sugar daddies. Even the Carter Center and former President Jimmy Carter believed that America has been transformed to an oligarchy. A small, corrupt, elite group control the country without much input from the people. Here's a rare photo of that group of elite men. Yeah, there they are, the most... Not the most attractive group of fellas, and the wigs aren't really doing you any justice, all right? The rulers need the myth that we're a democracy to give us the illusion of control. Speaking of illusion of control, myth number 7, we have an accountable and legitimate voting system. Gerrymandering, voter purging, data mining, broken exit polling, fucking push polling, superdelegates, electoral votes, black box machines, voter ID suppression, provisional ballots, super PACs, dark money, third parties banished from the debates, and 2 corporate parties that stand for the same goddamn pile of fetid crap, and a partridge and a fuck. What part of this sounds like a legitimate election system? No, we have what a large Harvard study called the worst election system in the Western world. You ever seen when a parent has like a baby car seat and the baby has a tiny steering wheel so that they can feel like they're driving, you know? That's what our election system is, all right? It's a toy steering wheel, not connected to anything, and we're all going, I'm steering. And believe it or not, that's why we have to vote. We have to vote in such numbers that we beat what's stolen, all right? Myth number 6, we have an independent media that keeps the rulers accountable. If you believe we still have that, then I have a segment, CNN segment, critical of the American empire to show you. I'm kidding, doesn't exist. Our media outlets are funded by weapons contractors, big pharma, big banks, big oil, and big fat hard-on pills, all right? Sorry to go hard-on pills, but we can't get anything resembling hard news because it's funded by dicks. The corporate media's jobs are to rally for war, cheer for Wall Street, and fucking froth at the mouth for consumerism. It's their mission to actually fortify belief in the myths I'm telling you about right now. Anybody who steps outside of that paradigm is treated like they're standing on a playground wearing nothing but a trench coat, all right? We have the furthest thing from a free and open press. Myth number 5, we have an independent judiciary. Yeah! If you believe that, then I have a very important, historically significant, intellectually satisfying episode of Survivor to show you. In fact, the criminal justice system has simply become a weapon wielded by the corporate state. This is how bankers can foreclose on millions of homes illegally and see no jail time. But activists will serve jail time for giving an ugly look to a bank. Chris Hedges noted the most basic constitutional rights have been erased for many. Our judicial system, as Ralph Nader has pointed out, has legalized secret law, secret courts, secret evidence, secret budgets, and secret prisons in the name of national security. If you're not part of the moneyed class, you're pressured into releasing what few rights you have left. 97% of federal cases and 94% of state cases end in plea bargains, with defendants pleading guilty in exchange for a lesser sentence. That's the name of the game. Pressure people of color and poor people to just take the plea deal because they don't have $1 million to spend on a lawyer who can spell correctly and doesn't advertise on beer coasters. Which brings me to myth number 4. The police are here to protect you. They'll take care of you. They'll breastfeed your baby if you need. They're your friends. That's funny. I don't recall my friend pressuring me into sex to get out of a speeding ticket. I mean, he tried, but he's not a good salesman, all right? He has a bit of a stutter, so I just thought he was laughing when he kept saying, ha, 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 hand job. I was like, what's so funny? The police, all right, that one's a thinker. The police in our country are primarily designed to do 2 things. Protect the property of the rich and perpetrate the completely immoral war on drugs, which by definition is a war on our own people. Yeah. We lock up more people than any other country on earth, meaning the land of the free is the largest prison state in the world. Yeah. So all these droopy-faced politicians and rabid talking heads telling you how awful China is on human rights, or Iran, or North Korea, none of them match the numbers of people locked up right here under Lady Liberty's skirt, all right? But look on the bright side. If you're a human rights abuse tourist, want to see some real good human rights violations, some real fucked up shit, you don't have to travel far, right? Plenty right here at home. Save some money on flights. You know, the baggage fees have gotten nuts. They really have. Myth number 3, buying will make you happy. This myth is put forward mainly by the floods of advertising we take in daily, but also by our social engineering. Most of us feel, that emptiness, that alienation deep down. For a while I thought it was gas, but it's deep down, and it's actually because we're flushing away our lives at jobs we hate before going home to seclusion boxes called houses or apartments, flipping on the TV to watch people who seem to have it worse than we do, which is actually quite hilarious. They're like, sucks to be you. After that, we pass out, and then we do it all again the next day. If we're lucky, we'll make enough money during the week to afford enough beer on the weekend to make it all make sense. I find it takes about 4 beers to make everything starts to add up after 4. But that doesn't truly bring us fulfillment. So what now? Well, the ads say buying will do it. Try to smother that depression and desperation under a blanket of flat screen TVs, purses, and jet skis. Now, does your life have meaning? No? Well, maybe you need to go a little faster on that jet ski, huh? Crank it up to 11. Now we're talking. When your bathing suit flies off, you'll feel alive. We have to believe the myth that consuming is the answer, or else we won't keep running around the wheel. And if we aren't running around the wheel, then we suddenly have time to do this thing, thinking. And we start asking questions, right? And those questions are not good for the banksters at the top. Myth number 2, if you work hard, things will get better. If you believe that, then I have a Lance Armstrong charity you should donate to. Not only is it generally not true that if you work hard, things will get better, but unless you look at what really matters in life, no amount of money will make you content. Ask yourself what we're working for. To make money for what? Almost none of us are doing jobs for survival anymore. I mean, once upon a time, jobs were like, I plant the food, and then I eat the food, and if I don't do that, I die. But nowadays, if you work at a cafe, will someone die if they don't get their super calf mocha frap almond piss latte? I kind of doubt they're going to keel over from a blueberry scone deficiency. I don't think it's happening. Will you die if you don't serve them one? If you work at Macy's, will the customer perish if they don't get their boxer briefs with the sweat-absorbent ass fabric? Kind of doubt it. And if they do die from that, they had problems far greater than you could have known. So that means we're all working to make other people rich because we have a society where you have to work. Technological advancements can do most everything that truly needs to get done nowadays. And according to Deloitte's Shift Index survey, 80% of people are dissatisfied with their jobs. And the average person spends 90,000 hours at work over their lifetime, about 1/7 of your life. So if we wanted to, we could get rid of like most work and have tens of thousands of more hours to enjoy our lives. But we're not doing that at all. And no one's allowed to even question, you can't even fucking talk about it. Not on your mainstream airwaves, at least. Even a half step like universal basic income is barely talked about because it does not compute with cultural programming. You know how they say like 80% of jobs or whatever will be taken by artificial intelligence in, 50 years or something? You know how they know that? Because bots are going to take those 80% of jobs and realize that 70% of them don't need to get done, and then they'll just take over and they'll be like, stop it. Stop. Just stop spending 1/7 of your life folding shirts at Banana Republic. They're going to build statues to the bot one day, and they're going to be like, there he is, our great liberator, the bot who told us, leave the shirts wrinkly. And this leads me to the largest myth of our American society. Myth number 1, you are free. If you still believe that, I have a thriving and unbiased print edition newspaper to show you. You are not free. And I'm not talking about the millions locked up in our prisons. I'm talking about you and me, all right? If you think you're free, try running around with your nipples out, ladies, all right? Guys, go ahead and take a dump on the street and see how free you are. Now, I understand there are certain restrictions on freedom we like to have in our society. Maybe you're not crazy about everyone leaving a Cleveland steamer in the middle of your walk to work. I get it. But a lot of our lack of freedom is not something you would vote for if given the chance. Try building a fire in a parking lot if you're homeless and trying to keep warm. Try maintaining your privacy for a week without a single email, web search, or location